Amy from the Virtual Beauty Bar, and welcome back to our channel. In today's episode, we have somebody else in our hot seat. We have the lovely Cathy Magee. So Cathy is a Hall of Fame representative with AVON. She's in partnership with her husband, AVON. She's one of the top sales leaders in the country and has been with AVON for such an impressive 17 years and currently at silver executive level with sales leadership. Cathy is a fellow training ambassador like myself and Lisa, and is from Northern Ireland. So without further ado, let's dive in. Lisa, what's our first question for Cathy?
Absolutely. So we've got to start really at the beginning, Cathy, and ask you a little bit about your AVON story. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Okay, so I'll try to keep it as brief as possible because you know I like to talk. I really started, I've been with AVON, I've known the company for a very, very long time, over 30 years. I did it when my kids were quite small. And then I had a break and I came back again 17 years ago. And I really came back 17 years ago out of necessity, in a need to earn extra money. In short, my husband became very ill and could no longer work in a normal 9-to-5 job. So we were looking at other avenues to bring in that extra money into the pocket. And very quickly, within a week, I started back as a rep, started into sales leadership as well, because that was also another earning opportunity for us. And then Ivan joined the business after a couple of years, and then after about 5 years of being leaders individually, we then joined into partnership, and we've been in a partnership in our business ever since. So it was really, AVON was really a lifeline to us then, because sadly at that time, due to the financial restraints that were put on us with Ivan losing his job and stuff, and we lost our family home that we'd had for 18 years. And that was really, really hard. I mean, we'd raised our kids there and, you know, we had a lot of memories there. But we always promised ourselves that someday we would have our own home again, and not only would we have it, but I was adamant the fact that it would be mortgage free, so that that situation could never ever happen to us again. And 2 years ago we achieved that goal. So that was a lot of hard work. A lot of hard work as a representative and as a leader, building both sides of the business. I love the representative side of the business just as much as I love the leadership business. I'm very, very passionate about the products that we do. We always say that they are premium brand at affordable prices, and that encapsulates AVON really to a T, doesn't it? So it's been a long journey, but one that I have absolutely loved every minute of it. I think the biggest part of the job that I enjoy the most is not only did AVON, I always say it saved our life, changed our life. We have that privilege of doing that every day with the people that we meet that join our business. And for me, that's the heart of the business, is that we can help people to change their life, whether that's paying for a day out with the kids, going on holiday, a wedding, car, whatever it is. But I love every bit of my journey with AVON.
I think that's a really interesting point you said there, Cathy, about, you know, whatever it is for anybody, because sometimes, well, I think most people start wanting different things, don't they? For some people, it could just be to put food in the fridge, to pay for a day out, you know, a bit of a hobby, something to do, a reason to get out the house. So you've hit the nail on the head. And I think for a lot of people, it's just, you know, identifying what it is for them, and that little first step for everybody along the way.
Absolutely, and that's what I'm the most passionate about in this job, is about the people. You know, we're in a relationship business, and it's a relationship, whether that's with our customers. So we offer really, really good service, and we make sure that they're getting the products that are suitable for them. And of course, you know, we're really helped with AVON in that through the academy, where we can become certified beauty advisors, which gives us the knowledge and the confidence to do that. Or whether that is excelling as a leader and helping and supporting people to be really good at what they do in leadership as well, and building their own teams. You know, it's such a privilege actually to do what we do. And the heart of this business for me is the people.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
mean, you also mentioned there as well about loving doing that part of the job. So, you know, loving being a leader and loving being a rep, they're two very different things. And love it, you know, like, because when you're in leadership, obviously you're helping other people. So what do you love most? What side of the business?
well, that's a hard one, because I actually love both. I absolutely love our customers. And we've had our customers for a really, really long time. And of course, we're always building on that, because, you know, the more customers you have, the more sales you're going to get, so the more you're going to earn. So it makes sense to constantly keep building on that customer side of your business, and constantly looking for those new customers or those recommendations from your own customers. You know, that's so, so important. Um, it probably becomes more of a struggle, I think, to keep that balance between two, when you have such a big business as a leader and a big customer base as a rep as well. So sometimes that is probably the struggle that I would have, is managing that time to basically fit both of those in at a high standard, and keep that level of service going at all of, you know, all the time.
Yeah, because I suppose as well, being a rep, you know, that's where it really starts, isn't it? Because if you're a leader, you've got to be able to really help people in a variety of different ways. And you know, like, that's what we do, isn't it? Where we need to get those books out, or work digitally, or sell online, however we do it. And the sort of the more knowledge we've got and the more we can help different people, I suppose that makes you a better leader, being a good rep, I think.
Well, you've got to understand the business. You know, to be a leader, we're basically bringing people into our business who are going to be reps themselves. So if you don't work at being a successful and good rep yourself, how can you train and develop people in your business to be good reps for themselves? So it's very, very important as a leader. Look, and the most important person in all of this, first of all, is the customers. You know, without customers, we aren't going to be reps, and without reps, we aren't going to be leaders. So it all starts with the heart of the customers. So the better customer service that we can give as a representative, the better our business overall is going to be. But we need to be able to be good reps ourselves if we're going to be leaders. And really, I believe in being a pace car leader. So I will never ever ask my reps to do anything that I don't do myself. I'll never ever ask my leaders to do something that I don't do myself, because we have to be the example. And I just think the word leader is, the word in itself shows that we are a leader in what we are doing. So that's why I think it's so important to me to maintain that. You know, when we changed to rewards, and the VIP was on the table, and of course the extra commission up to 32% was a great reward for that. I was like, well, I have to be a VIP. And I have been a VIP rep since the very beginning, all the way through. And it's one of my goals and one of my targets every single quarter, that I maintain being a VIP. Last year, I say we, and it's my husband and I, we work in everything together. So we achieved Hall of Fame for the first time. That was massive to us. That was doubling our sales on the previous year, more than doubling our sales. So that's nearly a full-time job in its own right, to be at that level as a rep. Trust me. But you've got to think of all the different ways that, you know, I'm a multi-channel seller as a rep. I don't just focus on books, although I do believe that the book is the heart of our business. You know, that's how we built our business right from the start, when there was no digital brochure. You know, there was no digital way at all of doing anything. Everything was people based. And that's why I'm very passionate about the people side of the business and the relationship side of it. But not only do I do brochure selling, I'm very passionate about product selling, because we are brand ambassadors for our company. So we talk about the actual products that we sell. It's not just about handing somebody a brochure and saying, I'll order up on Saturday. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think there is flexibility. You know, if you've got somebody that isn't into product, that side of the business where they can just hand somebody a catalogue and go, would you like to see a brochure, does work for a lot of reps.
Yeah.
If you just drop books and pick them up, you know, if you're very methodical, repetitive, go when you say you're going to go, you know, and you're reliable, a lot of people can build very big businesses just simply by doing that. But it depends, doesn't it, how you want to run your business?
It depends what, and that, I guess that's the beauty of this business, isn't it? That we have multiple ways of doing things. It's not a one fits all people. For us, product selling really came for me when my leader side of the business started to develop, because I had to find a way to bring in more sales that didn't mean more time me going out with brochures, if that makes sense. So I had to find other ways, and through my customer grid, I can sell a lot of products without leaving my home, you know, so that works for me, on top of the fact that, and I'm quite lucky because I've also got Ivan, so there's two of us that basically work on elements of the business. So he can go out with the brochures and I can sell from home. So it kind of gives that double edge to what we do, and it can really escalate our sales. And that's what we concentrate on a lot of. You know, time management is really, really important, both as a rep and as a leader. But as a rep, we've got to be professional about what we do and manage our time as well. We have set days that are our rep business side of it, and we stick to that to the letter. So a Friday and a Saturday are our delivery pickup days. And the rest of the week is leadership business. So that's how we divide our time. But I just think the way we approach our whole business in terms of how you look when you're out, the wearing of the products, you know, even getting your t-shirts, you know, whenever you're out, your lanyards, whatever it is, you know, they're very readily available, and making ourselves look as professional as possible. But you're absolutely right when you say there are people who are full-time reps. Yeah. And people who earn a very, very good living at being a full-time rep, you know, and that is very book-based. And I still think that the book is the heart of our business, without a doubt. It's the heart of our business. But there are other ways that we can sell as well, which are really good. You know,
I think when people are starting off, you know, like me and Amy, we thought we were quite similar until we started chatting. Actually, how do you do this, or how do you do that, and how do you do it that way? And that's when we realized we did things very different, which Amy's going to ask our next question, I think, which leads lovely into our next question.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've talked about, or you've talked about, should I say, what you love about the business and what you struggle with. So if you were to start again with all the knowledge that you know as an AVON representative, what would you do either the same or differently?
I would probably do a lot of things the same in terms of the way that we put our brochures out. We're not really, I'm not a massive fan of blind book dropping, and I've talked about this before, Amy. It has its place in the business, and it's definitely something that we would do to canvass a new area, but probably near the end of a campaign where
for anyone who doesn't know what that is, Cathy, can you explain what blind book dropping is?
Okay, so that's basically, you're not knocking a door, you're not introducing yourself, you're just putting a book through the door that has your details inside it. So you will have it inside a brochure bag, and you'll have your details on a printed sheet, basically, that they can tick, or they can text you their order or whatever. It's not relationship building initially, it's just book dropping.
Yeah.
We're not a massive fan, I'm not a massive fan of book dropping. we kind of have got more on board with it, I think, as the years went on, in terms of it's quite a good way for recycling your books as well, because you can get them out there, and if you get orders from them, then you can go back to those customers and give them the new book, and that develop that customer relationship from there. We always used to do it in the start where we door knocked and introduced ourselves to people. And our kind of way of looking at that was, it does initially take longer, but you were only going back to the houses where people physically took a book from you and said, yes, I would like to have one. So we kind of saved a bit of time in that, rather than going back and forward with books. I probably would change that approach now and do a wee bit of both, depending on the size of the areas that we're in. I would definitely change my approach in terms of a much more professional approach, in things like wearing my t-shirt when I'm out and about, wearing my lanyard, and things like that, and being a bit more organized than we probably were in the start. I think we didn't really know, even though I'd done AVON before, it was a really, really long time ago, and it was a very different world then. To do an AVON, you know, you were taking off the booklet style thing. For some of the older reps will remember this, putting in an envelope and taking it to your house, and it was very, very different. But yeah, and we didn't have the bonus of, I mean, I wasn't even on Facebook then, or so there was no social media selling. It was all person to person.
Or relationship selling sort of thing. Yeah.
So, like you were saying about how, you know, you don't do the blind book dropping, but I know for a lot of people starting out, if they've never done anything like this before, never been in sales, retail, you know, they've got these books. I think sometimes it can give people confidence, especially if they're not used to, you know, it's like a stepping stone, isn't it? Where somebody might not necessarily have the confidence to go knock on a door, but in time you start walking up past, posting through doors, and you know, you start chatting to people. I know you had quite good success not only a few weeks ago, Amy, didn't you, when you were dropping books, expired brochures, and you were just chatting to everyone you saw along the way.
Poor people, I think they were like hiding behind a curtain in the end. They thought, oh gosh, she's the chattiest AVON lady going. Yeah, I mean, I've slightly changed the way that I do book dropping now, in the sense of, like I say, basically chat to anybody who's walking past, waiting at the bus stop, whatever it may be, which I must admit, I even a couple of years ago, I don't think I'd have done. But it has had such good benefits to the business, for sure. So yeah, absolutely, really on board with what you're saying there, Cathy. It's yeah, a different take, and it's hard stepping out of that comfort zone, but actually once you do it once, it's not as scary as we think. It's okay. It's okay. So let's talk about the training programs and incentives and things that AVON do, because we as training ambassadors, part of our role is also kind of telling people what these programs are, but especially like with the training academy, it's absolutely fantastic. But what would you say has been the most, I don't know, what do you find the most useful, or over time, or what would you like to see and what have you that AVON do training wise for us, Cathy?
Probably my most favourite part of the training is the beauty advisor. As soon as it came out, I went, but I did one of the in-person, so I went along for a day, and a lot of our team went with us, and we did the in-person training, which was absolutely amazing. It was one of the best days, honestly. I enjoyed it so much. But even if you're doing the online ones, the knowledge that you gain from it, and we didn't have things like this whenever I first started AVON, so you were trying to learn a lot about the products yourself, whereas AVON have made it so easy for us now to go in, do bite-sized bits of training on things that we feel particularly passionate about, or you can learn over a period of time, like the skincare, you know, there's things about the home products as well. There's obviously about the makeup, the fragrance. I mean, the knowledge that I have learned, and I've been in this company a long time, over this last like year and a half, just from doing the beauty advisor training, has even surprised me. You know, I don't know if you're the foundation matching, for example. So the day we had the in-person training, we obviously did the foundation matching, and you know that practically everybody in that room was wearing the wrong color, the wrong shade of foundation, and most of us were wearing medium beige. And there was so many different skin types, skin colors, ages, but most of us were all wearing medium beige. And it just amazed me, the range of different shades in that room compared to when we started. And I would never even have known that. I mean, I'd been wearing this wrong shade for a long, long time. I would never have known that without the beauty advisor training.
Yeah, I'm the same. I had the creamy natural, and I've got it in every different type of foundation, and I love it. And I get so many compliments about my skin, you know, and doing those days, it does give you confidence, doesn't it? Because I don't particularly think I'm very good at makeup, but that's given me a bit more confidence, understanding about how to do a red lip, you know, how to do a smoky eye, how to use a glimmer stick. So those certification events are really important, I think, especially the in-person ones. You learn so much.
You do. And I mean, if you're a new rep and you're listening to this, you've obviously got your new rep journey as well, which takes you through bit by bit of training, which is really, really good as well. I also love, from a leader perspective, I love the fact that I can see what training my reps have already done and encourage them and say, well done on what you've really done. So that's really, really lovely, which is in there. What training, you asked me what training I would like to see. That's a hard one, actually, because we've got such a lot already in there.
The monthly toolkit, I know you're a big fan of this month. Isn't it incredible? I was like, oh my gosh, even like descriptions about the new bubble baths. I just think it's incredible.
Yeah. I mean, and it gives you, if you're not confident in putting words together to describe things or to say things. I mean, I've learned so many words with the skincare. You know, I've learned so many words in the last year about the products and the skincare that make me feel, you know, when you're saying it, you sound so professional when you're using these words. And you're using them, but you actually understand what they mean. So that's really good. Your customers, I think your customers build much more trust with you when they think you know exactly what you're talking about and that you can recommend those products. And you're not just recommending it just for the sake of recommending it. You're recommending it because you genuinely know that's the product that they should be using for their skin type. So if there's one piece of training I would highly recommend that everybody does is go on and do the beauty advisor training for sure.
Perfect. I'm just going to inject another little question in here. Now, we had a little conversation, didn't we, just before we started about the Facebook official reps group, and you're one of the main admins on that page. Some of us, even though we're admins, we don't approve or decline posts. We're there to provide content and sort of just keep an eye out for certain things. And you did it last year. And can you just give some advice for people who, because I don't think reps understand how many questions are submitted in this page every day. I mean, I think last month there was about between 600 and 800 questions posts that actually got approved. So let's give people a bit of advice, Cathy.
Yeah. Okay. Don't shoot me. So I think one thing that people really, really need to remember, because I don't think anybody totally understands the amount of questions that come through that page for approval on a daily basis. It is crazy. And not only that, it can be multiple questions about the same thing over and over again, because obviously nobody knows that somebody's already asked that question, right? So I can go on in the morning and there's maybe 10 people asking exactly the same question. We do try to make it flexible enough that we can allow at least one of those questions to go on, so that people can see that that's been asked and that it's been answered. Sometimes then the other ones will get declined because it's a repetitive question all of the time. And I want to explain to people why we do that, because I think people sometimes take that personally, that a comment can be declined from the group. So first of all, there's some really, really valuable content that goes into that group. Some of it is really, really important information that you need to know, in terms of, the site might be down and you need to know when it's back up again. It could be something to do with delivery information. There's some really vital information that you need to know on that. But what happens with a group like that is, when a question goes in and people answer it, and then lots of people start answering, it keeps pushing that back up the page. Excuse me. So a lot of that important information gets pushed down the page, so it gets lost and people don't see it. It's a massive group, and not everybody's on that group all of the time, all day long. So it's important for us to try and keep stuff as visible as possible. One way that people can help us within that group is they can use the search function, which is at the very top of the group. And if you just type in there
returns, yeah, or parcel force labels or whatever in there, it will bring you up every single post that has ever been put on there about that. Sorry, let me take a wee drink.
And it comes with comments, doesn't it, as well? So even if someone's commented with the response, so when you search for it, it can come up with the general question that someone's asked, or if it's been answered in the comment below, doesn't it?
And codes as well. We get code requests like constantly. It's crazy. It's just all of the time. You have a search function on your app and you're on your account, and it's really, really easy to use. You just type in again the word that you're looking for, and it will bring you up the product codes. So we try not to over approve those posts, purely not because we don't want people to ask questions, because we absolutely do. That's how people learn. It's purely to try and keep as much of the important information visible to people we can. Also, another way that people could really, really help us is if you ask a question and it's been answered and you've got the answer that you want, simply turn off the commenting on the post, which means that it doesn't keep pushing that back up to the top all of the time. The other thing I think, which is a bit painful at times, is that there's a lot more active people, admin on the page probably during the week, but the corporate side of the business, they work Monday to Friday. We don't work Monday to Friday, we work all of the time. But we also need some time with our family as well. And so it can be a bit slower. Approval can be a bit slower at the weekends, because what I try to do is just nip on for 5 minutes now and again when I'm out and about, or when I'm, I could be with my family. Father's Day, I'm still sitting, approving posts, but I try to do it in small doses so people can try to just be a wee bit more patient, maybe over the weekend, and that to realize that we do this in our own free time. It's not a paid job that we do. So it would really help if people maybe would just realize that it might be a little bit longer than it is during the week for that to be approved. But we are, the group is there to help and support people as much as we possibly can. It's difficult because it's such a big group and there's so many people that a lot of things can get lost in it. So there are certain things that we have to do. And, maybe that explains it a wee bit more in why we do the things that we do to keep the group as active and flowing as best that we can. And I would also ask people, because last year, as you know, the group got shut down twice by Facebook. Try not to report posts. because Facebook see that and they see that as a negative towards the group. If you see something in the group that you think shouldn't be in there, you can message one of the admins and we can remove it or do whatever we need to do with that post. And it's better to do it that way than it is to report posts, and because we don't want to lose the group again. That was a nightmare.
Yeah. To go,
Yeah.
So
I
that
think
helped.
people might not realize the harm they're doing in reporting posts, and it's mainly people trying to help other people out, from what I can see, where they might go, can you still get these pajamas, and somebody says no, they've sold out, or I've got a pair if you want to buy them, and that does go against the rules of the group, the selling, doesn't it? There's other groups for that. There's plenty of other groups on Facebook for that. So, you know, maybe just be mindful. Or sometimes it's the words, isn't it, that flag up, you know, like negative words, maybe like don't, or, you know, that kind of thing where I can't remember what the term is, but it will come up as a negative comment and needs reviewing, and it's harmless.
It's a moderation alert,
That's
and
the one.
things like leave is one of them. You know, where it's like silly words that people wouldn't even think about that flag up something, and it makes it look like it's a negativity thing, because Facebook in general don't like negativity. They prefer, you know, but life's not happy clappy all the time. We all know that, and problems arise, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with asking a question, but sometimes it's the way that it's asked that can have an impact on the group. And we are 1,000,000% there to help and support people and make sure that everybody's happy and successful. But we just need to be careful sometimes about the way we approach what we do in the group. You know,
absolutely. I mean, it's a fantastic group, and if you want to go and join it, it's called AVON Official Reps. You probably do need to either put your account number in the questions when you apply to join the group, and sometimes it might ask for store link, your name, which might be different. But again, sometimes we can have, you know, 100 people try and join a day. So please just be patient with the admins, because there looks like there's a lot of us as admins, but there's probably only about 4 of you who approve and decline the posts, isn't there?
yeah, there's not, you know, there's not a lot of people actually who there is a lot of admins, but there's only certain people who are allowed to do certain things within the admin roles. So that's the other thing to remember, is that people look at that and go, oh, there's 20 admins, why are they not approving all these posts? So there's only certain people who are allowed to do certain things within the groups. They have certain roles that they have to stick to within the group. So I would just, you know, look, it doesn't happen very often, but I have had people who message me, you know, quite cross, and, you know, I posted something 5 minutes ago and it hasn't been approved. And, you know, I have to say things like, well, it's actually a Sunday and you know, I'm with my family. You know, I'm not on there every 5 minutes of the day. So just please be patient.
Yeah.
You know, we will get to everything that's on. If it's a repetitive post, I would say before you post a question, maybe search the group, and you might be surprised that actually the answer is already in the group and it will come up without having to wait for the answer or wait for that post to be approved. So maybe do that. You know, might be the best way to do it.
Well, thank you for sharing that, because I think you've given some really valuable information there for people who might not already be in that group, or now they can go in, they're not going to type, how do I find the Focus magazine? How do I do a return? Because these questions do get sort of asked on the daily. And also there's the featured section at the top, which does have things like your weekly calls, how to do a return, certain things we will pin up there as well. So thank you for, you know, answering some of those questions about that. On to the next question. What is the best piece of advice that you've ever been given?
Okay, so this is a really, at the time this advice was given to me, I was a wee bit gobsmacked, because I was like, is that all you're going to give me? So I remember being at a conference, and when we go to our events or whatever, I make a point of if I see someone talking at a conference or talking at a rep event or an AVON on tour, if I see someone who's been really successful at doing something, I always make a point of writing their name down and make a point of going and speaking to them, because I want to learn as much. I want to be the best I can be at what I do. So I want to learn from as many people as I can learn from. And if someone's being successful at they're being successful for a reason. And on the whole, people are very, very good at sharing, you know, tips and hints and information. So I remember seeing this person on stage. His name was Wayne. And I remember he was one of the ones on my list that I was going to go and speak to. And I went, found him in the crowd and went and spoke to him, and I said, could you give me some advice, you know, moving forward in my business? And he said one line, and he said, be here next year. Be here next year. And I remember walking away a wee bit deflated, thinking to myself, is that it? You know, is that your pearl of wisdom that you're going to give me? But you know what? When I was there next year, and the year after that, and the year after that, and the year after that, it started to make sense to me what he was saying. So what he was saying was keep going. Because no matter what happens, look, life is a roller coaster. Any business is a roller coaster. You will be up and down all the time. Things will happen that will trip you up. The important thing is to get back up. And that's probably the biggest bit of advice that I would give to people, is just keep going. Because the thing about it is, you see all these successful people that you look at in this business or any other business, they've been in your shoes. They started where you started. I started as a rep with no customers. I had to build up a customer business. I started as a leader with nobody in my team. So I've been where you are. I've been in exactly the same position. The only thing probably that separates me to some of the people who are no longer in the business now is they didn't stick at it. They didn't be here next year. So it sounds a very, very simple statement, but actually makes a lot of sense in the terms of consistency, keeping going, keep getting back up, no matter what happens to, just keep going.
Perfect. I love that.
The very beginning of video at conference earlier this year was keep showing up, and I remember messaging you, I think Cathy, at the table, because we weren't at the same table, and I was like, this is really resonating with me, because it's the keep showing up, isn't it? And even on those days that you said that you kept in your brochures and it's absolutely chucking it down outside and you don't want to go, keep showing up, be reliable, be that person to keep showing up. And in the same way of be there next year, just keep going. And yeah, it can be hard, but actually the rewards are so good, because you get that reliability, you get that consistency. And even my customers know that I'll be out in the snow. Like, they even still leave their books out in snow because I am walking if I'm not driving, because I will keep showing up. And it's really resonating actually when you do it. But yeah, be there next year. I love that.
I love it. Might have to make that into a meme for you, Cathy.
Yeah, oh yeah, I would love that.
So,
I don't think Wayne ever realised, you know, I did mention it even at conference, but I don't think Wayne ever realised the impact that one sentence had on my future journey and within the business. And sometimes when people ask us for advice, we can make it very complicated, and we can start to go into, oh, do this and do that and do the other. Look, we're very privileged that we are able to work a job that means we're self-employed, and we can get up every day and we can create our own future. And that's what we do with the people that we bring into this business, the people that join us. You're creating your own future, but it's really up to us to keep going and keep getting up every day and doing what we're doing. You know?
I think that the conference does give you inspiration. You know, if that's something you struggle with, motivation and inspiration, and you feel like you're getting nowhere, you want more, you don't know what to do, you know, going and sort of making that commitment now and saying, right, how much is it? I need to put that money away. I need to be there. I need to sit and listen. And, you know, Sarah Davies was kind of giving that advice. She was our speaker in January and saying, you know, if you haven't got a mentor, read a book, get that mentor in your ears and in your head, and, you know, keep going with that. So I would highly recommend conference. I can't wait for conference next year. I'm really excited. So leading on from the best advice that you've ever been given, what would you say to a brand new rep, for anyone totally starting from the beginning? You know, they might have stumbled across this, or they might be in their first couple of months. What would you say to somebody, you know, as you giving them advice?
Just what I give to all of my reps in terms of, you know, realize this is not an overnight fix. You know, this is a business that you are starting to develop and grow. And so it takes time, and allow yourself that time. Allow yourself time to grow. Allow yourself time to self-develop. Allow yourself time to upskill and learn about the products, learn about the business and what you need to be doing, and just allow yourself to have that time. Don't expect to get up the next morning and have 400 customers. That's not going to happen. You've just got to allow yourself time to go through the process.
Yeah, perfect. For anyone who's watching, I don't know where Amy's gone. She's just disappeared. I'm presuming she has got a delivery, because we both had deliveries due today. Mine arrived earlier, so I'm presuming she's just gone to let the delivery man in. And he does gab as well. She does get his life. I've had the window cleaner here. She's had a delivery. So on to our last question, which is, what has been your biggest achievement with Avon?
Oh, do you know what? When people ask me that, it's probably one of the things I struggle the most to say, because there's been so many. We've run so many holidays, and been to some of the most amazing places. With AVON, our first trip ever in our first year was in Monte Carlo, and that was a wow trip. I've been on other trips that I've absolutely loved, like Malta, where I've met my you know, I met Julia, who's one of my best friends now, and we became friends from that trip. We have won DSA awards for Partnership of the Year. So that was myself and Ivan. I was nominated last year for a Purpose Award with the DSA Awards. I think probably one of my biggest, achievements was speaking at conference at the start of this year. That was huge for me, to actually walk out on a stage in front of 700 people by myself. I mean, I've been on stage before on conference, but I've been with people who've asked me questions, or been on a, you know, sofa thing, whatever. But I've never before walked onto the stage by myself and spoke at a conference, and that for me was massive. It really was.
You were amazing, Cathy, and unfortunately for me, I had to follow you with a panel of people. It's like, oh my God, we're following Cathy Magee. No, you were brilliant. You were really, really good.
Really inspirational story, as always, as well.
It is, you know, I mean, that's the first time I heard your story. I first met you at the Wilderness Retreat, which was the first time myself and Amy met in the jacuzzi, even though I completely forgot that, probably because I was too busy talking to you. So, you know, Amy's like, yeah, I was in that jacuzzi as well, you know. So your story is inspirational, and it's so kind of you, Cathy, in everything that you do, that information that you share with everybody as a training ambassador. You know, you sharing your knowledge, what you do, how you do it. And I feel like whenever I'm in your company, I feel like I'm in a safe pair of hands.
Oh,
I feel like I've just had a nice hot chocolate and everything's going to be all right, you know, because you've always got a little bit of wisdom to share, and you're very, very generous with your time, you know, and your knowledge. And, you know, for that, I am very grateful, because I'm not in your network, but you've always had time for me. So from the bottom of my heart, and I'm sure Amy's, because Amy is in your team. she is in your downline team, that we are very fortunate to be able to have your knowledge and wisdom at our fingertips. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming on the Virtual Beauty Bar and being our guest. We'd love to hear in the comments anything that you thought about today's episode, and please feel free to drop any comments in, ask Cathy any questions, and of course you can still reach out with us in the usual way. So we have an email address, which is thevirtualbeautybar@gmail.com. But comments is great, you know, please give us a like and make sure you're subscribing, and you know, please support us in whatever way you can, as long as you're still enjoying all this lovely content. And if you're listening on Spotify as well, I don't know how all that works, but give it a like or something, I don't know. Share the episode with somebody who you think might benefit from learning a little bit more about the Training Academy, the official reps group, you know, how to just run a business or something different ideas. It's a real great way to just share that knowledge with other people. So thank you once again, Cathy. Have you got any final words, Amy, you'd love to add?
I don't think so. I'm just so sorry that I had to dash off. That was somebody wanting some Skin Safe soft oil spray. I mean, we're always working.
I thought it was your delivery.
Oh, honestly, yeah. So, yeah, she came a bit earlier. She wasn't meant to come till 2:15. Anyhow, but no, just to reiterate what Lisa has said, really, thank you so much to Cathy for her time. You know, I feel so grateful to be part of the network, and you know, just to know that you're a call away, whether you are in the network or not, really. You know, like you say, Lisa, Cathy is so generous with her time and pearls of wisdom. I just feel extra fortunate that I get to say that I'm in a network.
So Team Magee, thank you very much. And until next time, we'll see you all soon. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.